I want to talk to you today about why we get multiple sclerosis or other autoimmune diseases. And I'm going to go over the top 9 reasons for this. And by the way, I'm a nutritionist and an integrative nutrition health coach. And I help people with MS reverse their symptoms. So if this is something that sounds exciting to you, let me know. Reach out to me, info@nourishyourway.com. I've got a 12-week program, and I've got coaching sessions as well that can start helping you heal. This is hot off the press. I want to let you know I am holding a masterclass on discovering the hidden secrets to healing MS. So I'm going to be sharing what I do and how I help people reverse their symptoms through my 12-week program. So if you want to learn more, hop on to nourishyourway.com/master-class and sign up. It's November 4th at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And if you can't make it, sign up anyway, because I will record the session and I will email it to you the next day. But if you can show up, I will be giving out a free gift. So I hope to see you. Go to my page, sign up, and I will see you there. Anyway, let me get back to why we get autoimmune diseases and how you can start healing holistically. It's possible. I was diagnosed in 2015, over 10 years ago now, and I healed every single symptom I had. I had brain fog, I had numbness in my hands and legs, I had hermitsine, I had severe fatigue, I had a blind spot in my left eye. And I healed everything, even my eye. And I shocked myself I had this ability. So again, I'm going to go over why we get these autoimmune diseases and how you can heal them and how medication really is not needed. And I can prove it. I didn't take any meds at all when I healed my MS. And I've written a book. I'm not here to sell you a book, but I can give you the names of 10 other people who also healed their MS on their own without meds. So most people don't think this is possible, but it is. I want you to start spreading the word that it is. And if you are watching this, you either have MS or you have a loved one that does. And I want you to start looking into how to treat yourself holistically and searching for more answers. But here we go. Number 1, leaky gut. What is leaky gut? This is a big reason why people get autoimmune diseases. And leaky gut means that there are toxins that have been going through your digestive system. This can be food like gluten, dairy, too much sugar. This could be trans fats or seed oils. This could be chemicals from processed foods. So what happens is when we eat some of these foods, they start breaking down our intestinal tract. And when this happens, our tract becomes permeable. And this means that particles can fall through the tract. And this wreaks havoc on our digestive system and our whole body. And our whole system goes haywire. So how do you fix leaky gut? Well, you got to start eating whole foods. You got to be taking out all those toxins that I just mentioned. And when you start eating whole foods, you start healing your digestive tract. And number 2, toxins. I just went over this, right? Toxins like too much sugar, gluten. Most people are allergic to dairy or have sensitivity to dairy, and most people don't know this. Processed foods. A lot of these chemicals in these foods hurt our body. They hurt our system. And then our bodies start breaking down and causing all these symptoms. So we need to mitigate these toxins and stop putting them into our bodies. Number 3, lack of nutrition. Most Americans and other people in other parts of the world, Australia, the UK, now in other parts of the world, we don't get enough nutrition. So we need to eat more vegetables. We need to eat more quality meats, quality fruits, Eat organic as much as you can. And these are the macronutrients that we need. So what is a macronutrient? That is quality meats, carbs, and good fats. We need good fats. And when I say carbs, I don't mean bread, okay? I mean veggies like root vegetables. I mean squash. I mean sweet potatoes, right? Those are the good carbs that we need. And then when we eat correctly, we get the micronutrients that we need. All the vitamins, right? Everything from A to Z or A to zinc. And then we get the calcium and the magnesium and the zinc and the iodine. When we eat correctly, we get the nutrients that our bodies need. And when we don't get the nutrients that we need, we start getting all these symptoms. And it's our body telling us, hey, something needs to change here. You're not giving me the nutrients my body needs to work efficiently. So we need to start listening to our bodies, and we need to start changing our habits so we can get well. Number 4, there's other toxins out there. There's chemicals in our cleaners, in our laundry detergent, and there's toxins everywhere in our food, in our water, and some we can't help to avoid, but many of them we can if we change our cleaning supplies with natural ones. And sometimes it's even in materials, the clothes we wear or the fabrics in our home, like drapes or carpet. Some people are highly allergic to some fabrics because some chemicals are in them. So besides the chemicals and the processed foods that a lot of people consume, we also need to think about mold, parasites, and heavy metals. And mold is a tough one. Many people develop a lot of weird symptoms when it comes to mold, including mental issues. So if you haven't figured out what kind of toxins that you might be exposed to, if you can't get well, for example, you might want to get your home tested or your apartment tested for mold, because mold is very serious. And then heavy metals. And we can get heavy metals from our drinking water, from foods, from breathing the air, from things we put on our skin. I'll give you an example. I had aluminum in my body, and I didn't know where it was coming from. I had ordered a hair test kit from Amazon. I wanted to know what toxins I might have. So I sent a couple of strands of hair on my head to a lab. I was high in aluminum. And I thought, where is that coming from? And it took me a couple of months to figure it out. And then one day, I read the ingredients on the underarm deodorant I was using. It was aluminum, was one of the top ingredients in it. And I thought, oh my God, this is where it's coming from. So I had to stop that product. So be aware of everything you not only eat, but things you put on your skin, the clothes you wear, the chemicals in your cleaning supplies. So a lot of these are toxic. And then as far as parasites, there's a lot of us that have parasites. And what you want to do with parasites is you want to starve them. So you don't want to feed them sugar. You don't want to feed them any breads, because bread turns into sugar in your system. And you want to start eating more bitter foods like broccoli, like arugula, kale, some of the green lettuces, some green vegetables that are bitter. So this is the way you can starve your parasites. And then the other thing is EMFs. So a lot of us, if we have a computer job, maybe if we work from home or in an office, we get too many EMFs from our computers and from our phones and from our electronics in our house. And so we need to be able to step away, take more breaks, go outside, take a walk outside. This is the way we can minimize the amount of EMFs that we're getting. And I remember one day I had spent pretty much all day in front of the computer. And the next day I felt really sick. And I figured out why I was sick. I was getting in too much computer time. I didn't take enough breaks. I didn't go outside. So just be mindful of that as well. So number 5, another toxin is toxic relationships. And I've talked about this. So if you are with a partner or maybe you have somebody in your family that's toxic, just know you need to set healthy boundaries from that person. If a person doesn't bring you joy and you don't feel good about being around that person, you definitely need to set boundaries. You want to be around people that make you feel good. Hopefully, it's not anybody at work that you have to see every day, but you do have to figure out how to mitigate this kind of stress, because this is not healthy for you either. And this kind of stress gives out cortisol. And when our body is pumping out too much cortisol due to stress, this can lead to disease. So you need to learn how to mitigate this. Number 6, infections. So you've probably heard that infections like the Epstein-Barr virus, and I've done a little bit of research on this. Most of us have or have been infected with this kind of virus, but I've also read some studies where it's been linked to MS. And then Candida. And Candida is when we have an imbalance in our gut, in our colony within our digestive system. And what it is, it's an overgrowth of yeast and fungi and bad bacteria. So we need to learn how to mitigate that. And I talked about that already. So if you can get away from gluten, sugar, and dairy, those are the main things that you need to avoid, and then start eating more veggies and low fructose fruits like berries, for example, and then quality meats like organic chicken, grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish. Okay, those are really good examples. Number 7, too much stress or too many negative emotions. So if you look at Dr. Gabor Mate, or if you look at Dr. Sarah Zoll, or if you research Dr. Lisa Rankin, all of these doctors will tell you any stress or any negative emotions that might be trapped in your body can also cause disease, which leads me to past traumas, number 8. And I've had to heal my past childhood trauma. I had a parent figure that was a narcissist and also dealt with through my adult years, had caused a lot of trauma with my body, and I had to learn how to release that. You know, trauma can come in different ways, not only childhood trauma, but relationship trauma, religious trauma, military trauma. If you've been in an accident, maybe a car accident, or maybe you've been in another kind of accident, maybe you've had a loss of a loved one, maybe parents, or maybe a child, maybe a brother or sister, maybe a loss of a pet that you were very close to. Trauma can exist in so many different forms, and we need to learn how to mitigate this or heal this. And trauma can take some time to heal. And also hiring or finding a psychologist or a counselor to help you heal from that trauma is not shameful at all. If that's something you feel you need to do, then go for it. Forgiveness is a big deal. Forgiveness is very healing. So if you need to forgive somebody and you don't have to tell it to their face, you can actually forgive them in your mind, and then you can let them go. And this isn't very easy for a lot of people, and it takes some work, and it might take some time. You know, women, there's so many women that have been raped. This is a kind of trauma, and it can get stuck in our body, and we need to release it, and we need to forgive the person who did this to us. And I know that's not easy, not at all. So that was number 8, past traumas that you need to heal. Number 9, the last cause that I've got on my list is a lack of exercise. Body movement helps heal. If you're hiking or going for a walk or in nature, if you've heard of tree bathing, I've talked about this. Tree bathing actually is so mentally good for you. And the trees actually give off a chemical that you breathe in, or other kinds of foliage, natural foliage. And if you breathe in these chemicals that are given off naturally from nature, It helps you develop the NKs, the natural killers that actually help you fight off infections and bacteria in your body. And then tree bathing is actually so good for you mentally. It helps you get to a peaceful spot in your mind. It helps you relax. It releases endorphins. So hiking or walking in nature is so good for you. Or if you're into sports, you like to play tennis or pickleball or golf, and hanging out with people that you love and doing these activities are really good for you. So I hope this gives you a lot of ideas on how you can start healing yourself. And if you want more information on my 12-week program, just email me at info@nourishyourway.com. But healing MS is possible. I've done it. I know a lot of other people have done it, and I've helped other people do the same thing. Reach out to me if you have questions. And until next time, you'll hear from me soon.